Yes, this is Jah9 representing for IrieItes.de, spreading consciousness and bigging up real reggae music. Rastafari love.
Greetings, IrieItes. Today from Reggaejam in Besenbrook. With Jah9, you just played your show. How did you experience this show on Reggaejam?
Blessed love to IrieItes. It was a great show. It was a great show. I was really tired and I was hoping that I could still deliver, and I went on, and just the warmth from the people kind of just brought me through. Just looking at everyone and seeing that, yo, these people really feeling this music. That's cool. And yeah, it was good. It was a great experience. Really, really happy that I was afforded the opportunity to be here.
So it's your second time in Europe.
First time was with China Smith and Inna the Yard in 2010. This is my first time as Jah9 in Europe. Yeah.
So have you been able to catch a vibe already? How long you
Yeah, man, I
stay?
catch about the vibe nice. The vibe nice. The place is warm. The people are warm. Everybody's so warm. It's crazy. I came and my throat was giving me some trouble, and people just appeared with ginger and things to suck on. And I was like, wow, my angels. It was great. So I haven't been there for that long. We leave in a few hours to go to Belgium, to Reggae, and then I'll have some time, a few days when I can kind of sit and really take in the vibe.
So you grew up on the countryside and were moving to Kingston. How was that move for you? Your experience coming to the city?
Well, it was interesting because as a child, you're kind of used to what you're comfortable with, and then you go to the city. And where I grew up beside a boys' school, and so I didn't have a lot of neighbors. It was just 1,000 odd boys who were over there, who were over the school. So I didn't have the community setting, so I took a lot of interest in what was happening in the school environment on a social level, just observing the differences. Because where I came from in Falmouth is a very traditional kind of space, and they were, you listen to the old people, and you go to church, and you speak properly, and and when you came to Kingston, the children were just, they did whatever they wanted. It was just different. It was a bit of a culture shock for me. But, it gave me an opportunity to really go inside myself. And I started to write since I was very young, because I had a lot of time to introspect, a lot of time with myself, because I didn't have a lot of neighbors or a lot of siblings. So we have to give thanks for even the challenges. Yeah.
So how you became interested in music and got into this
Well, I was
music business?
always interested in music. I was always singing since a very early age with choirs and so on. Every choir, every church choir, every school choir, like three choirs at a time. So I learned by ear several hundred songs by the time I was in high school. And I got into reggae music though, and roots reggae music, because it was mostly gospel music and hymns and so on. But I got into roots reggae music much later in my life, like later in high school, going into university, through listening to like instrumental dub, and like Augustus Pablo and Jashaka and Mad Professor and scientists, and all of these people, and then even Caesar Kalonji. Caesar Kalonji challenged everything that I knew. I don't even know if he was doing it intentionally, but that music and the people who I met who listened to that music, he was saying some things so boldly that he forced me to go and look at some things. And then I went to university and met a professor, Kadamawe Knife. I always talk about him. He was so instrumental to me because he was such an intelligent man, and he was a Rastafari, and he was my first experience of a Rastafari man. And he spoke. He had so much knowledge. He knew everything about everything. And he taught me how to build my first steam chalice. And so I sat and I spent a lot of time with Herb. And I spent a lot of time just sitting and kind of meditating on some of the things that I thought I knew. And a lot of the things, he never once would raise his voice and try to challenge the things I knew. He would just posit a different opinion. And that challenged me to go and seek the truth myself. And in seeking, I started to find the things that would challenge the foundation of what I grew up knowing. And I started to challenge the church environment in which I lived because I was always Afrocentric, but that never really challenged the church until I hit and until I hit certain parts of ancient Egypt and certain learnings about where the information in the Bible come from, and it really made me start to discard certain things. And then when I discarded certain things now and found Haile Selassie pulled me back to certain things. So he showed me the real way to experience religion, because Ethiopia is the first Christian church. So His Imperial Majesty is the real experience of a Christ and what it's supposed to represent. And so he gave me the confidence to take up back my Bible and read it in a different way. Don't read it like pick a verse out of it and whatever. Read it from the beginning to the end, just like you would take on any book and find the truth in it. And I have been doing that. I've been reading it one chapter a day, and I have been kind of just assessing life and just kind of letting it feed me like medicine rather than like a history book, kind of taking it as a part of my yoga then, a part of my meditation, and just living life that way. Yeah.
Talking about knowledge and books in your mixtape, 9mm, you're quoting His Majesty and Walter Rodney, Marcus Garvey. How important is it for you to read books, and what does these books mean for you?
Boy, it is so important for the youths to read. They always say that, if you want to keep anything from black people, you just put it in a book. Because the rote learning that they teach us, they don't really teach us to appreciate books and information that way. And so you really have to push yourself beyond how you are taught to go and investigate certain way. It's only so the masses of the youth will not get certain information. And so I found it very important that, all right, since I'm not going to read it, let me give them a little taste of it. So I would do like the 9mm. So 9mm is a project that you will have different volumes. You'll have another volume of it when you have another album. And you will start to see works from like Frantz Fanon. And maybe you'll see some works from Schaul de Lubix. And you know what I mean? Some other people who have important things to say. And what I found from that, it has worked exactly how I figured it would. And it's just the most high inspiration that would really make me put something like that in a mixtape, because I see the youths now asking, where can I get these books? And so now I forgot put it on my website so they can have access to those books. But information is really the key. Like, I am not going around preaching to people what they must do. I just taught the truth that I know. A man want to challenge me, him really challenging himself. So him have to go and seek knowledge for himself. And I mean, there's a whole heap of things that people will consider their truth. But at the end of the day, it's really just the truth within yourself. And learning and understanding your inner voice and knowing the difference between how you've been programmed and what emanates from your spirit and your gut, And that is really the work. The work is just to find yourself. Whatever it takes is just to find yourself, you see me? And when there is selfishness and there is malice and them thing there, them thing they're going to distract you. So once you can strip away those things and really leave yourself home, because time going to come when no matter how much you know, you're going to have to release all the things you know and empty yourself to really allow yourself to be filled. So get the knowledge so you can get on the path. And once you're on the path, humble yourself and surrender and allow the Most High to guide you.
Talking about reggae revival, there are many different artists, and how important is it for you to share knowledge and to come together and have reasoning? We can see you in the book from Dati Bookman, for example.
Well, it has been a natural thing, just along the way, just reading and knowing, because the journey that I was on, when I met up with some of the other ones, I would share that, and it would inspire them and ignite their fire. So it's not like I feel like I am the one who told them anything. It's Jah inspired them, just like how Jah inspired the ones who taught I anything I know that would make I go seek anything. And ones like Kabaka read whole heap. So it was so good to just connect with that virgin as well. You know what I mean? And connecting with Protege. And Protege was so willing to learn. You know what I mean? And then you have the other youths that are coming up and they're following. I mean, I can't really attest to how much anyone is reading, But just because it's almost like if you do it enough, people are going to start thinking, it's cool to read now because these people who we look up to are reading. And so we make it available. So you have ones like iNation in Jamaica who he just drives, or he used to ride on a bike. Now he has a van. He rides around and he's just giving up books he's selling books that were banned in Jamaica for some time. So he's giving us access to that right there. So every conscious show you go, you're going to have those books that you cannot get anywhere else. Ones like Sister Mitzi Tafari, who is a publisher, and she ensures that those books are being pressed even when some of them are out of print. She go find them herself and her organization, and they print it and make it available so that ones like iNation can go out and spread the word. So it's a serious thing. It's a mission that goes beyond just the people who sing in the music. It's the people who bring in the books, bring in the knowledge. It's the people who going into the communities and ensuring that the youth them can even read, so that when the books come them can know it. Making sure the people know, the youth them know who Marcus Garvey is, not just the face on the little money, but who is this man. Not just seeing His Majesty here and say Rastaman say Rastafari, but knowing who he is, what he did, making his autobiography available, making The Wise Mind of His Imperial Majesty, a little short book that has snippets of what he said. That book has changed people's lives. So it's really knowledge, and it's Rastafari at the root of it. The way he lived, the way His Majesty is a yogi. This is a man that practiced yoga, practiced Kriya yoga, practiced breathing techniques, and the way that he carry himself. If you look at him, his posture, the way he puts himself together, he is the greatest example to the youth. And so all of us in this movement, that is what we have in common. That is the unifying force. Everything else is like anybody else, but it's His Majesty that really made the difference in how our thing shining right now.
And there were some important places like Jamnesia and the Dub Club on Sundays. Can you tell us something about these places?
Yeah, man, those places are foundation. Jamnesia is a place where when you have a talent, you can go there and hone it. And there's always an audience there. And there are some of the best musicians like Billy Wilmot and his sons. They're so dedicated to the music that no matter who is on the stage, they can find rhythm. They have great imaginations. These are surfers, but these are musicians. And so it's years I spend just developing relationships and just jamming with them. And so bringing the youth them into that environment and just watching it grow. So every single one of us pass through that. So that also is like a schoolroom too. You know what I mean? And Dub Club, Gabriel Selassie, big up every time. He's one of the first people who allowed me to get to just sit down and just listen to instrumental dub beating out of a big sound system. Even before I knew him, I did catch up at him yard, just sitting down, listening through the box to Augustus Pablo. And that is where I really found my voice, just singing out and letting the jazz come out of me. Them time there's just poetry I writing and hearing, using my poetry and just putting melodies to it, because there was so much space in the dub music to just to flow. And so these places is just Jah provide them for I and I. It's just Jah provide them as medicine and as instruments.
You mentioned yoga. Um, how did you come to yoga?
I came to yoga through a sister named Subhadra Bowman. She has been practicing yoga for the past maybe 25 years or so, and she's a Jamaican via California. And she came back to Jamaica to start a yoga school, basically, a yoga institute, but really it's a school. And you had other yoga places in Jamaica, but when she came, because she's a black woman, and she came and she just started her thing, and she just made a way for those of us who couldn't afford the expensive yoga teacher training to get a chance to come and do it on scholarship, come and do it and practice at the same time. And it started to develop a kind of a community vibe. And yoga helped me unlock certain blockages within myself, even emotionally. And so because of how it was taught to me and because of the community that evolved from it, we try and spread it everywhere that we can. And so I am a teacher of yoga now. I've been practicing with her for the past 3 years, and we go, and most of the yoga I do, I mean, she would not be pleased that I'm saying this, but I don't make any money from yoga right now. I'm just teaching because I love it. So I will be here, and she's like, I know you're going to go to Europe and find some people to go teach, because I just think that everybody can benefit from this thing. Everybody can, and especially the inner city youth who have so many blockages, so many emotional barriers. It is really a healing tool. And so I think it is a perfect complement to Rastafari and reggae music. And the first Rastafari them was yogis. Yeah, the first of them is yoga, them care come too. So the relationship between yoga and Rastafari is very, very, very long. So it is just natural that I would easily gravitate toward it.
So we can see it is a whole package.
It's a liberty.
Liberty, yeah.
Liberty, yes, I.
So, and coming back to the music, this would be the last question. What can we expect in the future?
More music, man. More of everything. I mean, more of everything in terms of different experimenting with different styles within the whole Jamaican genre as well. Going back and finding some foundation sounds and really experimenting with original foundation sounds because of my jazz influence. I love those kinds of sounds because they're so laid back and there's so many open spaces. So it really gives me a chance to experiment, as well as even going more into my jazz influences and just works and even putting in some of the word sound, which is my original style, into the mix. But there's crazy potential. There's limitless potential for where it can go. There's singles that are being released. You'll probably always see a consistent sprinkling of singles, and work with Rory Stone Love will always continue because Rory understands what I am doing in a way where it's my brother, and because we build so much, him can get him in my head, and so it reached a point now where he's going to know what to give me. And I mean, there's so much music. Him can't possibly fill all of it, but what he will bring will definitely get used. And I know he has some exciting ideas coming up as well. So there's more work. There's just more music to come and road. So we want to be traveling the world. We want to be coming to Europe and going to Africa and really settling and making sure the people on the continent understand who is them king, and what it means for them and loving themselves and living up, because there's a thing going on around the world right now where black people don't really love themselves, they don't really know themselves. They have been disenfranchised and them don't know them language, them don't know them king and God, them don't know nothing about themselves. They're so Eurocentric. No disrespect to Europe, but there's a culture that is a foundation that the people them need. And so it is our responsibility as Rastafari youth to make sure the youths them and the ones in Africa know themselves. And we do this for the youth. I do this for my youth that I don't even have yet. Just to make sure that by the time them get here, things set a little way better. So that is why we do this. And the music continues.
Last year I went to Ghana and I saw Rastafari everywhere.
Yeah.
It is rising and getting bigger and bigger. So how do you feel about this, having Rastafari
Rastafari come to
community?
save the world. His Majesty them need to wrap him in a cape. He's definitely, that is the liberty that come to save the earth. Right now everybody's on this green hype and all of that, but this is what Rastafari has said a long time. Rastaman always saying ital is vital. Rastaman always saying live a particular way, make sure you exercise. All ones like China Smith, China walk for miles every day just for exercise. Rastaman live away and plant him food, and you know what I mean? The liberty that was looked down upon back then when it's just the Rasta doing it. Now we have realized that this is what is going to heal the earth. And so everything come full circle. And so, you see me, Rastafari again leading the way. Yes, I. Blessed Lord.